Hey folks, and welcome back here to Gatekeeper Media as we bring you the conclusion of the 2022 OTB Open out at Swenson Park in Stockton, California. We're bringing you some chase card coverage to wrap this thing up, and we appreciate all of you for tuning in. And of course, a special thank you goes out to our Patreon supporters who help make all of this coverage possible. Once again, I am Dustin Mouret, and I'll be bringing you the commentary for our conclusion to the festivities here out in California. Try to see how our card will finish things off. Gossage right now currently tied for second position, with the rest of our cards still very much in the top 10, looking to jockey for position on the leaderboard. As we take a look at things, Simon Lizotte leads the field right now by 3 strokes, with Calvin Heimberg, Aaron Gossage, and Anthony Barella just in behind. Also got Ricky Wysocki and Joel Freeman up there near the top 5 as well. As we head over to hole 10, another very iconic hole here at Swenson Park. 850-foot par 4, double water carry off the tee. The more left you are, the more closed off your approach will be. If you're more to the right-hand side, you kind of have the backhand hyzer over the water to approach the green. So it's really just about how much you want to bite off the tee. You can bail out left early if need be, but a lot of the players choose to kind of play that right-hand side. Mason Ford taking a safer route. Bails out to the left, but just a little bit trickier approach with that decision, but certainly can still be done. And Gossage having plenty of power, looking to attack that right-hand side of the fairway. Gets it to pan out nicely. Some good ground action as well, and that sets him up for that backhand hyzer over the third pond to the green. Big turnover here from Austin Hannum. And that'll clear the water just fine. Gives him a couple of different options to approach the green.
Thanks.
Gannon Buhr, too, going for that big turnover. And that is on a great angle. And that's going to push way down the fairway, almost challenging that third pond. So that's right over 550 feet to get to that third pond. So he definitely put a move on that one. See Mason Ford swinging in the forehand. Likely just to pitch up for par from that position. Austin Hannum going low and straight at it. Gets some great flare skips and gets right there outside the circle, just on the edge. Gossage going for that spike hyzer over the third pond. And connects it in there. Gets a little bit of nasty ground action at the end, though. A tough roll away. Going to give him a lengthy and almost likely a death putt. And look at how far Gannon Buhr got up here. Just a smooth backhand to approach the green, and that is perfect. As you see, Mason Ford having nothing to do with this one, just lays up for the par. Gossage also taking the layup. Here's Hannum for birdie. That's going to wind up being a par. Gannon Buhr, though, has a look at it. Actually just outside the circle, so has to take a bit of a stepper. Was a little short on that approach. But no problem. Gannon Buhr will find the score anyway. It just did play as the 5th most difficult hole on the day. 0.31 strokes over par. 14% of the field finding the birdie. Majority finding the par at near 60% of the field. So we see a couple of drop-ins here to finish things off. Now we head on over to the island hole, hole 11, 341-foot par 3, and the OB line comes off a few feet off of the wall that you see around the green. So really have to make sure that you manage the distance perfectly and try to avoid getting too much ground action. Otherwise, you could be flaring out of bounds. As if this can just dig, it's going to be great. Hits the barrel. And that'll lay down nicely. Again, Gannon Buhr, great youth coming up on the tour. Rookie of the Year last year. Kind of developed a lot of his form from Will Shoestrick, guy who still works at Prodigy and a 3-time USDGC champion, and guy that I know Gannon always kind of looked up to as he was getting into disc golf, and could definitely kind of see some of that in his form. We are going to see Mason Ford now take the tee. Just needs that to dig. It's going to hit the wall, though, and rest out of bounds, but still a chance at a par save. So he gets a meter off that OB line. Kind of one of the few saving graces about this hole is at least you can get a close putt as long as you get somewhere near the island. This looks good from Gossage. Beautiful shot. That'll leave him a chance for birdie. This is looking pretty good from Hannum as well. Oh, skips right on the backside of the pin. Right in the bullseye for birdie. Now this is Mason Ford after going OB, trying to save par. Definitely a lengthy putt ahead of him, but a chance. And he will connect. Right there on the left-hand side. Not bad to walk with the par after OB off the tee. Good putt. Here's Gossage for birdie. He's had a heck of a day so far. Really challenging that second position. And that putt will stick. Keeping him in the mix now, solo second position. There's Gannon for birdie. And that'll do. Keeps him up in that tie for sixth position. Looking to add another big finish to his tour this year. Of course, fresh off a win at Masters Cup and several other podiums this year. Great birdie as well there for Austin Hannum, keeping him in a tie for 10th as we head to hole 12, a 445-foot par 3. Dealer's choice off the tee. Really no OB or Mandos to worry about. Have a couple of different backhand routes you can take, a couple different gaps you can punch through on this right-hand side, but forehand's also available if you want it. And this is the most common gap you're going to see taken off the tee here from Gannon Buhr. Kind of catches a tree on the front side of the green, but does roll out beside it, so still has a look at the pin for birdie. And Gossage taking that same route. Maybe carries a bit more left than he wanted, but he's still near the circle's edge. So we see Hannum eyeing up likely the same route. You can go a little bit more inside if you want to, but it's a tighter gap. So yeah, this wider gap is definitely the easier one to hit. As long as you got the distance in the ground action. That'll kind of skate up there near circle 2. Good line here from Mason Ford. Yeah, that'll skip up there in circle 1. Give him a look for birdie. Handing the furthest out here. This is going to be a long bid. Gives it a good little go. We'll rest up there, though, for the par. Again, wind definitely a factor at this tournament. I think day 1 was probably the most severe wind conditions. Yesterday, for the moving day, is a little bit more favorable for scoring. Today, though, it's a challenge, but it's one that Gossage is prepared for. That's 2 birdies in a row. He has yet to find worse than par. He's kept the card clean all day long so far, and he's still in second position. Great birdie putt there from Mason Ford as well. Puts him in the tie for 8th, keeping him in that top 10. Oh, what? Not sure if it was just a little too much zip on the putt or the wind kind of got a hold of that, but that looked pretty close. Maybe just left to center, but that's a tough break. We'll see a par there for Austin Hannum, and we'll be back after a short break.
I'm Garrett Girthy. People know me as Double G. I've been making Double G craft jerky since I was 16 years old.
Whether I'm at home or on the road, Double G craft jerky is the snack that I go for.
I've actually found myself eating Double G craft jerky on my long drives to the next tournament.
We all know Double G's got a big arm, but he's also got a big heart. Every bag of Double G jerky that you buy supports children's disc golf and goes to a great cause.
You can find Double G craft jerky at doublegjerky.com.
The upgraded black hole portal. There are 4 rows of chains and 4 rings to hold them in place.
They've updated it with galvanized steel chains.
It catches everything.
It's like the perfect basket.
Here we go, hole 13, a 422-foot par 3, very deadly wooded tunnel. There is a Mando that you have to stay left of as you start approaching circle 1. So it kind of forces your shots to be a bit more on the left-hand side of the fairway, which really opens up the forehand if you've got it. What a shot from Gossage. Actually going to go a little bit deep of the circle. Rolls right back in towards the edge of it. Again, definitely a guy who has a lot of power on both the backhand and forehand. I got to watch him in person in Tallahassee, and he absolutely rips it. Mason Fuller gets a little bit caught up there. Again, a lot of low ceilings out on this course. Big forehand here for Austin Hannum. Gets through all the trees and some great skips, and he is right there. Parked. What a beautiful shot from Austin Hannum. Definitely a guy who's known to have a really strong forehand. Had a couple of strong finishes already this year. Looking to keep that up, and yeah, just silky smooth forehand. Lots of power behind it. Always fun to watch him throw. You are going to see the forehand here as well from Gannon Buhr, just kind of resting outside circle 2. Mason Ford just kind of pitching up for par. Here's Gossage for birdie. Oh, just a little low. Not a bad bid, though. But we'll settle for a par, but still keeping the card clean. Still contending for the podium. Buhr gets that one to stick. Keeps him near the top 10. Ford will card the par, and now Stephen Amell, Austin Hannum, steps in to clean up the birdie as the green arrow will walk off the green. I swear he is a total doppelganger for that guy. Let me know if you believe it to be true as well in the comments below. As we get the hole 14 at 351-foot par 3. There is really the challenge of a tight OB left and an OB golf green to the right, as the pin's kind of perched on top of this little knoll. And so this is really about just angle control and just trying to land it perfectly. It's really tough, very touchy. Also a triple Mando off the tee, and that is overturned. And that is going to find that left-hand side OB. Again, very manageable distance, but it's just so tricky with the low ceiling and how the OB rides both sides of the green. A little inside there, and that's going to bounce out of bounds. A tough break for Gossage, and that might be his first blemish on the scorecard. Mason Ford plays the backhand up the gut. Needs that to settle down, and no, he finds OB as well, so no one yet to find themselves in play. Now, this looks like it has some potential. And yeah, that'll do. In circle one. Avoids any OB right near the golf green on the right-hand side as we see our card just trying to lick their wounds here. Likely everyone just pitching up for bogey at this point over on this left-hand side. Yes, Gossage just rolled up there near the pin for a drop-in bogey. I think Ford needs more disc in his left hand. I don't think 4 is enough. You see him toss up. Everyone has their thing. So you are going to see some cleanups for bogey here. Mason Ford just tapping out. This is Gannon Buhr, though, for birdie. This would be a nice little catch to get. A little stepper and gets it done. This has definitely had some struggles on this hole for our card. But Gannon Buhr will put one on there. Gets him in a tie for 8th position. Austin Hannum, Mason Ford still near the top 10. And Aaron Gossage still finds himself in podium position, tied for 3rd. So we head to hole 15, an 846-foot par 4 double island fairway in a big water carry on your second shot that you're going to have to contend with. You see a lot of players just take the wider spike hyzer to try to avoid the water as much as possible on their second shot. There's also a couple of OB bunkers you have to contend with, and there is a Mando off the tee that you have to stay left of. So a lot going on this hole. Very tough hole. One of the toughest on the course. It is consistently played up there in difficulty. It was the 3rd most difficult in round 1, or actually 2nd most difficult in round 1. Most difficult on round 2, and you guessed it, for our final round, it was the most difficult hole. Great shot here from Austin Hannum, though. Puts himself in good position here. Big forehand here from Gossage. Gets a little bit of flip up from the wind. Starts pushing right. Stays well in play. Yeah, a little early there from Mason Ford. Does skip over to that second portion of the fairway, though, avoids any OB. Having to kind of just play this one for par after that tee shot, but gets it up there. Gives himself a nice open look to approach the green for par. Again, this is a very tough hole to birdie. You could be a crazy person and play way over the water on the left-hand side, but this play you're seeing here is definitely the safer and more common play. Gannon Buhr gives himself a chance. A solid shot there. About as good as you could hope for. See what Gossage can do. He's even further out right. Has a lot more ground to cover. Trying to fight through some of this tree cover. And gets up there for an approach for par. Pretty solid backhand there from Hannum. Kind of gets caught up, but again, still able to approach the pin for a par, which a par is still a great catch on this hole. Nearly half the field found bogey or worse on this. Only 6% of the field finding the birdie. Played 0.6 strokes over par. Again, the most difficult on the course through the bulk of the weekend. See a couple of layups here to finish this one off. And Gannon Buhr certainly gave it a good bid, but we'll have to settle for the par. Again, nothing to be too upset about. Gossage remains on the podium after that par. Mason Ford staying in the mix for the top 10. And the rest of the car dropping in similar position as we head to a short break.
The crowd was so spectacular today. Just the energy from you all was just amazing.
I love you, Oregon!
Now we get into our final stretch here. Hole 16, a 399-foot par 3. There is OB left you have to worry about, and it is an elevated pin, making the putt a little bit trickier. Also, a couple of trees do guard the front side of the green. You often either see the wide backhand and sometimes the high spiking backhand out here wide right as well. That one does fight through. You also can see players throw the forehand over the cart path on the left-hand side. A little bit riskier, though. You're going to see Austin Hannum go for the big spiking backhand. That one will get up there as well. Again, wind certainly coming into play here. Oh my. What a shot from Goss, just darting it in right near the pin. Again, tough to get around those trees that guard the front side of the green at times. We're seeing Mason Ford take a more low direct line at the pin. I mean, that works just fine as well. It's a couple of skips. Gets up there near the edge of the circle, I believe. Gannon Buhr being well short has to just kind of pitch up for par. Same situation here for Austin Hannum, just laying up. And actually, Mason Ford didn't get as close as I thought. He, too, has to lay up. So a lot of pars being carded here, but Gossage right there for the birdie. And a great one to grab. Again, now gives him solo third position with just a couple of holes left to play. And now we get to the ever tricky hole 17, the 737-foot par 4. Just have to try to get low and straight off the tee, avoid the OB bunker left, and try to get as close as you can to the water's edge to set up either a backhand or forehand approach. Just kind of pick your poison on this peninsula green that often sets up some pretty risky death butts. There's a Mando you have to stay to the right of off the tee as well over on the left-hand side. Often see just a straight backhand on this one. Oh, and Gossage gets knocked down and still has a lot of ground to cover. So they make this hole really tough. Already a difficult hole. Again, low ceilings you have to face off the tee, but Gannon looks like he's found it perfectly. Skates on up there. Almost gets through the Y cap, but is going to get caught up. Dang it. And yeah, that leaves a lot of work still left to be done for Austin Hannum. Pretty much takes birdie out of the picture, you'd have to imagine. Great line, though, from Mason Ford. Couple of good skips as well. Gets him out into the open and has a look. Goss is still trying to give this a go. Gets up there. Likely laying up for par, obviously, but at least made something out of that tough situation. Austin Hannum looking to follow suit. The big forehand of his own. And that too will skate up there outside circle two. A chance for him to have a pretty routine approach to play for par. Of course, Gannon Buhr looking to attack after a great tee shot. Playing it pretty safe there, right near the circle's edge, but still a very scary putt from that far away. Mason Ford plays that backhand hyzer. Needs it to settle. Yes, that will stick. Again, though, very scary putt. Even that is a tester with that water behind the basket. Great approach from Gossage will give him a stress-free par tap-in, which is something you'd love to have on this hole. Mason Ford laying up as well for a stress-free par. What's Gannon Buhr thinking here? He's getting to a knee like he wants to give it a slight bid. Yeah, just gives it like a safe, floaty run. Almost finds some trouble, but lays on down. Good par putt there from Hannum. Looks like it's going to be a plethora of pars for our card here. This is what's playing .26 strokes over par with only 17% of the field finding the birdie. A little over half the field finding the par. Around 30% bogey or worse. So taking a 4 here, certainly nothing to shake a stick at, as we would say out here in the South. Not sure what it really means, why you would be shaking sticks at things, but, you know, just one of those expressions that you're not supposed to read too much into, I guess. So we see our card clean things up. And we headed to our final hole, hole 18, a very dangerous one, just under 700 feet, a par 4 with a big dog leg right. You have to make this corner if you have any hope of attacking this for birdie, as this fairway gets so narrow as you approach the putting green. There's also a Mando you need to stay left of off the tee. And again, if you're not in perfect position for your second shot, you essentially just have to concede. Gossage, one of the few that has the forehand powerful enough to play this wide left gap. Needs it to skip back in bounds. And it will. Gonna have a straight look to attack the pin. Really well done. Definitely some tight gaps off the front of this tee that you have to hit if you're gonna go for the more traditional backhand route. And Gannon Buhr able to get it done. Oh, that's a nasty tree kick, and that's gonna get him in that bush line. And yeah, that's pretty much just you having to waste a stroke to get back on the fairway from there. Not really much to be found. Austin playing the flex forehand up the center. Not a bad option for this hole. Gets some good ground action and does have a little bit of a look there. Still tricky, though. It's such a narrow fairway. Just gets skinnier and skinnier as you approach the green. And heck, the end of it is barely the size of the circle. As Mason Ford gets up there on that bush line on the right, and yeah, just will have to kind of pitch up and play for par. It's center cut, right on the bend. And not much Gannon can do other than just pitch out to the center and play for par from where he was. And now Gossage can attack. Try to see if he can keep that solo third position with Lazat and Barella in behind, looking to take the lead. And yes, that'll do. Great forehand from Gossage. An equally impressive shot there from Austin Hannum. Puts it right on the pin to end strong with the birdie. Gave him a big top 10 finish. I think there'll be back-to-back top 10s for him after doing so at Masters Cup as well. Good pitch up there from Gannon Buhr. Gives him a stress-free par to keep him in the top 10 as well for this event. Mason Ford looking to do the same. Oh! Almost made some magic happen in his round, but we'll be right there for par nonetheless. And a great birdie putt to end what has been a fantastic round from Gossage. 8 under par. Certainly one of the best rounds on the day. That'll give him a podium finish. Mason Ford right there near top 10, tied for 11th. So a strong finish for him on tour as well. Easy tap-in par there for Gannon Buhr. Will keep him tied for 9th, so in the top 10. Another big finish as well for him this year. And yeah, back-to-back top 10s for Austin Hannum as he ties for 9th with Gannon Buhr to finish things off here at Swenson Park. And so there's going to be your final results. A big finish for Aaron Gossage. Only one blemish on his scorecard the whole day. That was hole 14. Played an excellent round outside of that. Great finishes as well for the rest of our chase card. You can see Simon Lizotte is your champion. His first win since 2018 for an Elite Series event, so cool to see him back on top. Calvin Heimberg, again, the ever-consistent finisher there in second. And that's going to wrap things up here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please subscribe for future coverage. Special shout out to our Patreon supporters. If you want to give me a follow, you can follow me at FollowDust on Instagram and Twitter, and Dustin Disc on YouTube. Again, thanks so much for tuning in, and catch you next time.